All right, hello everybody, welcome to day 2. I'm getting a later start today. It's about 3 o'clock right now. I am not gonna lie, I had to get up early this morning. I was just pretty tired, just kind of feeling out of it today, but I'm feeling I'm feeling more rested. Got a good lunch. I'm ready to get back out here and get it going today. Today is going to be obviously a shorter day, but really I want to focus on continuing my work in the front yard. I want to get that area cleaned up. I know that's not super homesteady. I know that's not super farming and all that, but it is still something that needs to be done. Oh, there's a centipede. Scared me. But it does still need to be done. Again, I just got done editing the day 1 video and I realized like how nauseating it is to watch me walk around like this, but I honestly have no other options. So it is what it is for now, at least. Oh, I got a little water in my wheelbarrow. I'm gonna empty that out. But essentially today I am going to be working on front yard pretty much exclusively. I've got to water the greenhouse, which I will walk you through in a bit when I get to that. I'll probably do that towards the end of the day only because I just want to get started on some of this work, so I feel like I made a dent in it. I'm a big inspirational type person when it comes to stuff like this. I feel like if I make a little bit of progress, it's like I'm a firm believer in the idea that it's harder to start than it is to continue. So I'm trying to start and not lose my gloves apparently. But today, biggest thing is going to be continuing the work on the front yard, because again, right now my seeds are still germinating in the greenhouse and there's not a lot of stuff that's super pressing right now that needs to be done. Is it raining? And it's raining a little bit. That adds to the fun. But I do still need to water the greenhouse and we'll go through that a little bit later. But it's going to be a heavy day on the front, a little bit lighter day on the growing side of things. And again, chickens are still inside. I'll probably do a tour with them. I was going to do it today, might be tomorrow, might be a little bit later, but yeah, that's pretty much it. You already saw the progress in the last video where I ended, so I'm not going to do a before, but I will walk through the after. I did cut some trees down yesterday, and I'm going to be dragging those out first, and then just continuing to rake. Continuing to rake everything. I don't know. I'm going to gauge my expectations a little more because there's more dead trees and more stuff that needs to be cleared out. Right now, I'm still kind of primarily just trying to get the leaves out of there, but I'm going to see what I get through today. It has been raining. It is pretty wet. I don't know if I'll really be able to do everything that I want to do in there, but I am using a rake. I'm not using the blower over there, so I'll see how far I can get. But like I said, it's 3 o'clock, so I have a good amount of time. Got a good few hours I can be out here at least. So yeah, I'm just going to go get started, and I'm going to go get started, and then I'll do a progress update a little later. All right, so I thought that I would do a little bit of an update. I'm towards the end of the day. I only ended up doing about an hour or so worth of work, and I feel like I've been kind of overdoing it. I know that I started the channel on, day 1, but I've already been doing work, starting to get things ready for about a week or two up to this point where I started this series. So it wasn't really technically my day 1, but it was day 1 for the channel. So I got it started, a week or two after I'd actually started doing the work, and I feel like I'm starting to kind of physically burn out a little bit, and I'm not really used to doing this much yard work like this. I'm used to doing like one big day of yard work just to clear the backyard and stuff like that, and now I've decided to do all this stuff, and I feel like I'm kind of just doing too much at once. So I'm going to try to back off the amount that I do day to day and just try to be more consistent with it, because what I don't want to do is get completely burnt out and then let the plants die and not take care of the different things that I need to do. So I'm going to try to get it done more consistently over time. But I thought that I could review some of the things that I did today, and then we could talk about what's in the greenhouse and how I'm going to start taking care of that. So I'm going to start undoing the hose here as I'm talking. So today I did about an hour's worth of work in the front yard, just continuing to clear leaves. I know that it's probably not... a little bit of water here. I know that it's... I want to make sure that I guess I didn't release the pressure, man. Oh, yep, that would do it. I didn't release the pressure. Did about an hour's worth of raking, which actually made a good amount of progress. I cleared out the big logs that I'd cut down yesterday, and just continue to push leaves back. I'm pretty much doing the same thing in the front yard as I did in the backyard the other day, just continuing to push leaves out of the way. I tell you, it's just leaf after leaf after leaf. But in the meantime, I know that I'm doing a lot of like yard work. It's not really consistent with the whole homestead thing, but to me, it's kind of all encompassing. I know that, you know, traditionally we're going to work on the garden, we're going to work on raising chickens and building. Anyway, sorry for the interruption there. That was my mom coming out to tell me something. She didn't realize I was doing a video here. But I know that a lot of people like to, you know, learn about farming and chickens and this, that, and the other when they watch these homestead videos. But to me, it's more like along the line. That's why I struggle to call it a homestead channel. It's more like a lifestyle channel. You know, I want to show you all what I'm really doing on a day-to-day basis. You know, not just because, you know, you see videos where they plant, like for instance, they make a planter box. And then they'll make this super fancy looking planter box, all these power tools and stuff. And I'm like, I don't have any of that. Like, I would never make something that's that fancy looking, you know? It's like everybody shows their big, humongous greenhouse with all their plants. It's like, I'm a complete beginner. I've never done this before. And I'm using this smaller greenhouse. So I'm just trying to make it more realistic and show what I'm actually doing on a day-to-day basis. That's why I like the format of these videos, at least so far. I tried to make this one a little bit shorter because I just got done editing the last one. And it was like 30 minutes long. So hopefully in the future it's a little bit shorter. You know, a little bit more summary based. I haven't done a lot of like specific gardening stuff or specific chicken stuff yet. That's going to be to come. Lately, I've just been doing a lot of just trying to clear land, whether it's in the front or the back. But that's going to be an ongoing kind of project of mine. But anyway, let's get back to the greenhouse. I was just kind of summarizing what I did today, which was pretty much just clearing leaves, which is what I'm going to be doing on and off probably throughout the season, it seems like. It's probably going to take me a little bit longer than I originally thought to do it, but that's okay. I'm just going to try to do it a little bit by little bit every day and just try to be consistent with it. But I'm going to go ahead and open this up. This is a greenhouse that, like I said, I think I said this in the last video, but we got this from Tractor Supply. Yeah, I know, I don't know if you can see it, I'm in my Crocs and my sweatpants because I got changed and everything. But yeah, because I was just feeling burnt out. But I know I gotta water the plants, so let's take care of that. This is a greenhouse we got last year. Probably later, maybe about this time. Maybe it really was April, but at some point in the last year we got this. And I've planted 2 tomato plants. I don't know if you can really see, but this is the only angle I can really prop my phone at, and I don't want to like move it all around and everything. This, feeling everything needs some water, it looks like. But let me think. We've got 2 tomato plants on the ground here, and then we have 3 plants here. The first one that you see here, this first pot, is going to be beans as far as I'm aware, and then we have 2 different types of flowers. And I'll go more into depth on that when they sprout and I go to plant, you know, transplant them into the ground, which is where all 3 of those are going to go as far as I'm aware. The 2 tomato plants are here to stay, along with the 2 the basil and the cilantro plants, which are already starting to look like perk up a little bit. At least the cilantro is. Those really need to be transplanted sooner rather than later, so I can do that in the future video. But I'll probably wait to do that closer to the weekend, just because I'm taking care of them, but they're not really my plants. I wasn't the one to get them and to really be involved in the growing process there. But I'm still going to help take care of them. But I don't really want to be the one to solely do that because they're really my mom and my wife's plants. But let's go ahead and get started watering. I'm going to turn the hose on back here. And then proceed to mist my stairs here. Let's turn this off. I love this little mister. I think this is the coolest thing that's ever been made here. Let me make sure I've got it on the right setting. Yeah, there we go. I love this little mister. I tell you, I feel like it's the best way to mist things. I'm going to switch it back to... I don't know what setting that is, but that setting doesn't work. I'm just watering directly in the greenhouse, and that might be a bad thing, but... I'm just trying to get everything wet. I know that it's probably a bad idea to water directly into the greenhouse, but at this point I've got 7 plants in here, and I don't think it's really realistic to take everything out, water it, and everything back in every day. Not to mention, it's a greenhouse, so the water is going to evaporate, and I assume it will help cool it down in here a little bit. I haven't done a lot of research into that in particular, but I assume that it's going to do that. But this is the greenhouse setup, and I can do more an in-depth tour of it, in the future. But nothing's really sprouting. It's just a bunch of dirt, seeds, and containers right now. But in the future, I'm hoping that we can continue to expand it along with everything else, basically. Just let the pressure off this. I love this little gardening wand. I think that it's a super nifty thing, especially when we get to the front garden, which I showed you in the last video. I'm trying to remember what I showed you in the last video. What I showed you in the last video, what I was working on today, and I can go show you some progress updates here in a second. But basically, this is super, super helpful for that, because you can basically stand on one part of it. You can stand on, like one side where the hose is. You'll see it in future videos, but you can stand on one side where the hose is and hose everything off in one go, or get everything going. Man, I am tired. Let me try to English here. You can get everything very, very effortlessly with the hose. I was worried about overwatering and the pressure not being right and not being able to reach. This wand is super long. I'm able to reach everything without a lot of hassle. It's basically my favorite way to water things. I wouldn't do it any other way, really. I'm just going to hang this on the steps. This might not be the wisest choice, but I'm also going to be doing this every day, and I don't see a reason why I need to put it there. I'll just hang that there. Or hang that there. Maybe I can put it through here. I will find a place to hang it. That works for now. Maybe. I think that works. Yeah, that works. I'm going to go ahead and shut this off, make sure this is off. And then zip this right back up. That's pretty much what I'm doing right now. I didn't put any fertilizer in, which might have been a bad choice. I used the Miracle Grow potting soil for the 3 ones I just did. And then these 2 tomato plants were originally tomato plants that died. And I just put the seeds right in there, figuring that at some point, I figured it would already have the right nutrients to be able to grow. It hasn't been a week yet on any of this. I just planted those 3 seeds yesterday. So I'm expecting at least a week or 2. Oh, I guess we've got a snail here. I'm expecting like a week or 2 before we see anything. So I'm not super discouraged yet. But it is a little discouraging when I'm doing nothing but watering dirt. But I know that I got to give them time and just have patience with them. Let's go ahead and take a look at what I was doing earlier today, which I know I didn't get a lot of work done, but like I said, I feel like my goal right now is going to be consistently every day rather than all at once and then not for 4 days. And that's kind of why I like doing these videos, because I feel like it's going to help me be consistent over the long term, which is what I'm really going to need to be able to take care of the chickens, grow plants, etc. Especially with the plants, because I have a feeling that I'm going to do a lot of failing early on and a lot of learning here, but that's what needs to be done in order to continue to grow. So let's go ahead and take a look out front. All right, so you all are gonna have to prepare for one of those nauseating videos, because I'm gonna kind of walk and gather my tools, because I pretty much took a break that ended up being a longer break. So I'm going to go ahead and find my tools, but you can see here the work that I did. It might not be super obvious because it's still all brown, but that's really the goal, is to try to get to the dirt and get all these leaves up. And you can kind of see it more in here. Let me zoom back to regular so y'all can see it. All of those leaves. I'm just continuing to push back leaves. Really, this is land that, apart from the house in the backyard, which I think you all have seen, kind of on and off in this episode and before in the last episode. For the most part, okay, let me think for a second. I gotta find my rake. That's what I gotta find. For the most part, those are the only areas that have really been used by my family and I in like the last 10 or 15 years, like a long time. So all these other areas have not been maintained for leaves, have not been maintained for anything, really. Other than that front garden area has been maintained and that backyard area has been blown off and mowed. Everything else has not been touched probably in, I know for sure, in at least 7 years or so, but could be even more. I figured I would spin this back around while I drag this back, but I mean, at least 7 years this stuff hasn't been touched, but probably closer to 10 to 15, just because in my lifetime we haven't really... I just put my thumb over to the camera. That's like rookie mistake right there. But none of these areas have been developed at all, and I'm the only one doing it all with hand tools. So it's going to take a considerable amount of time, and I'm realizing that. And in order to pull this off, I'm going to have to be consistent rather than... What kind of plane is that? Looks like it's a private plane. Anyway, I'm going to have to be consistent. All right, I'll have to... Maybe I'll go slow. I'm just going to go slow so y'all can still hear me, because we have this gravel driveway and it's super loud. But I'm going to have to remain consistent over the long term in order to be successful. I'm realizing that now. And in order to be consistent, I have to set a realistic pace for my work. And that's not 4+ hours a day for me right now. That's like an hour a day for me right now. So I think tomorrow I'm just going to set my sights. I'm going to set my sights and my goals lower so that way I can consistently hit them, which might not be the fancy thing to talk about. Yeah, it might not be super exciting to hear, somebody say, oh, I'm only going to do an hour worth of work every day, but that's what's sustainable for me right now. And that's really what I'm trying to do, is just stay sustainable. I don't want to, well, that's not fun. I don't want to get burnt out in the beginning before I've even gotten a chance to get things off the ground, 1. And 2, I also want to keep it realistic with everybody. I don't want to sit here and just post, oh, hey, I'm doing this project. Everybody watch me do this project. I want to show you what I'm actually doing on a day-to-day basis, because I feel like it's kind of it definitely is misrepresenting when I'm talking about, oh, hey, I'm doing this project, doing this thing. I don't know. I don't feel like it's very honest to talk about me working all this time or, doing it project by project, and all you see is this big completed thing. And I don't know. I just see a lot of channels like that. Let me not give myself tetanus today. I see a lot of channels like that, and I just want to be different. I want to show you what I'm actually doing on a day-to-day basis, and I feel like a lot of people in this online space are not super realistic or honest with the work that they're doing. And maybe they are. But I just don't want to be one of those people that sits here and talks about, oh, I work all day out in the yard. It's like, well, no. I'm just trying to be consistent. Long-winded way of saying I'm going to do less work to be consistent over time. I think I'm going to leave it tipped over. I think that's probably wise. Just tipping the wheelbarrow over so it doesn't collect water, because I knew it was raining earlier. But yeah, for the most part, that is my goal right now, to remain consistent. I know you didn't meet the chicks today, but I guess that will have to wait till tomorrow. Oh, there we go. All right, I got it to sit first try. But, and of course, I got leaves in my Crocs. Yes, I know, I own boots and I'm wearing Crocs out in the woods. But either way, thank you guys for tuning in to this episode 2. I'm just going to keep doing them on a daily basis. I'm actually 1 day ahead. So essentially, this episode that you're watching right now was actually filmed yesterday. So these episodes are coming out 1 day delayed. So, if it ever gets confusing like that, is how I'm doing it. And I'm really just doing that so I can keep up with editing, because I don't sometimes, like yesterday, I didn't get done till it was getting dark. Well, I guess I had to leave a little earlier than that. But for the most part, at least the last few days, which is probably why I'm feeling a little burnt out, I didn't get done till dark. And then dark here now, as it gets into summer, is 7:30. And I'm not going to stay up till 8, 9, 10 o'clock at night, because it takes a lot of time for these videos to process and stuff like that, just because of the length. I'm realizing that. So it just really helps me out. I mean, in the future, if you really want them to be, same day, then, definitely reach out to me in the comments, reach out to me, and I can see if I can find a way to kind of streamline that. But at least for now, they're going to be on a 1 day delay, which I don't think is going to be the end of the world, but we'll see. But again, I'm just trying to, be consistent over time. That's the best way for me to do it for now. But I'm sure, that'll improve over time. But either way, I think the work is done for today. So we got some more land cleared in the front, which isn't super helpful for the garden, but it will, I guess, be helpful for the front garden this year. Just got these watered. I need to go check in on the chicks. They're in the house right now, so, checking in on them is pretty much a daily occurrence. But then in the future, we're going to be taking care of that pen over there that they're going to be going in. I'm going to take care of the pen, plant garden. We got a lot of stuff coming up, but right now it's just a lot of raking leaves, unfortunately. Well, not unfortunately, I don't mind it too much, but like I said, the thing I've learned today is that I need to be, consistent over long periods of time. In order to do that, I'm going to have to shorten the amount of time that I'm actually working per day. And I'm going to start at like an hour or so and then just try to expand from that, because I just don't want to get burnt out. But let me know what you all do, with burnout and stuff, because I'm just starting to grow, and I know that it's, you got to be consistent. You got to be consistent. And I know it can be hard because it's like you can't go out of town. You can't go on vacation. You can't forget to water your plants, especially when they're in the greenhouse, and that's the only way they're getting water. So let me know what you all do to kind of combat burnout and, to continue to be consistent, because I'm finding that to be a little bit difficult myself. I'm sure that'll, change over time, but at least for now, it's it's definitely a challenge. But either way, I will see you all tomorrow, and comment, like, subscribe. Do people still say that? I don't know. Go ahead and subscribe, and I know that I think they still have a notification. I'm not on YouTube like this a lot. This is, kind of new for me. So go ahead and subscribe and turn on notifications. That way you know when I post a new video. But they will be daily from here on out. They will just be every day, whether I am doing a bunch of work or I'm, chilling out, going to the lake, whatever it happens to be that day. Really the goal of this channel is just to be, show you a realistic image of what it is that I'm doing on a daily basis here on the property. And, you all get to see that transformation over the next many days, hopefully. So either way, I'll see y'all tomorrow.